If you're gonna hire somebody, even though I would still say, you know what, go do some contests on your own, make mistakes and learn from them, take notes. I mean, that's what I did.
Yeah.
If and when you're ready to hire somebody, like, do your homework on them. You know, ask for references if you have to. Meet them, talk to them. You know, like face to face.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I can learn something about somebody being face to face. It's hard to via email.
Oh, yes.
You know, or what they project out on social media.
Well, they're never going to put out their worst client.
Sure.
You know, they're never going to.
Get the fuck up. Simon says, get the fuck up. Throw your hands in the sky.
All right. The next one is, it's a rather long question asking about coaching. And I'm not going to read the whole question out because it's a couple paragraphs, but it's asking Mark about, you know, the benefits of having a coach, you know, if somebody should have a coach, when to switch a coach, you know, that kind of thing, and the path that he took throughout his process. So I'll just let you run with that.
Yeah, I never really used a coach until I met John. Well, I'll just give you my history. Like I said, when I first started, I was given all the Perillo stuff, and I read that. I read Chris Aceto's Championship Bodybuilding, which is a really old book, but still relevant today. I think it's still a good read. And I just tried to educate myself. And ultimately, you have to learn your body. If you want to be successful long term, you have to learn your body. And I guess you could outsource that to a coach. They're going to have to learn your body too. But I don't know. My philosophy has always been own it. Take the responsibility yourself. Learn your body, because you should know your body better than anybody else.
Yes.
You eventually hit a point where you know, I hit a point where I was like, you know what, I've never used the coach. Maybe there's something to be learned. Maybe there's, you know, maybe I was duped into, there might be a secret out there.
Yeah, it's something that you don't know about.
So I hired at the time what I thought was one of the best coaches. I won't use his name.
Yeah.
He prepped Dexter Jackson when Dexter won the Olympia, and I paid him a lot of money. And so because I paid him a lot of money, I also said, I'm not going to deviate one bit. He tells me, eat 5 green beans, I'm going to eat 5. He tells me to eat 3, I'm going to eat 3. He tells me to train this way, I'm going to do everything to a T. So at least I know if this doesn't work or it works, it's, you know, it's because I followed it. I don't want to deviate and then be like, it didn't work. Was it him? Was it me? What was it? So I went all in and came in heavier than I ever came. Placed the worst I've ever placed. Was marginally in shape, although not to the conditioning that I've been in even recently. And I knew it. 6 weeks out, I knew it. Like, this is not going to come together. And he figured it out probably 3 weeks out, and then just killed me on cardio to try to get me there. And so I came in heavier than I'd ever come. My legs were down in size because I had cardioed them away, trying to make up for it at the end. And long story short, I didn't work with him again. I don't sit here and bemoan that or even regret that, because I learned a lot. It was more money than I would like to have paid to have learned that. And a lot of what I learned was what not to do, but it was still knowledge. So I don't regret any of that. And I went back to doing my own thing. And then, like I said, I finally got to a point where I felt like my physique was backsliding, and John seemed knowledgeable from what I had read, you know, from him. And so I met him. Personality-wise, we hit it off, which me and the other guy, I just, you have to trust somebody. And I really trust John. And John's done my training. He's not done my diet. That's not to say that we don't talk. But I've stuck to doing my own diet just because I feel like I know my body best. And And even the training with John, partly due to injuries and partly due to I do know my body, I do modify the training from him as well. Now, when you get to the level that I'm at, not trying to put myself on a pedestal, but when you're at the pro level and you've been there a while, like little things matter a lot when you're prepping for a contest, and everybody's different, and some people mentally go off the rails in those last few weeks. And not to say that I haven't or I couldn't, but I tend to seem like I can maintain my sanity a little bit better than most and look at myself more realistically. Now, I would still say if there's a coach to earn that title, John would be that for training, my wife would be that for the diet. And I was about to say she doesn't tell me specifically what to do, but she certainly tells me if I'm doing something wrong. Although she has been specific, because just this last year I won Anchorage. She wasn't with me. I then went to Chicago. She came with me, and I won there. And I remember after prejudging, she said, "I think you're flat." And most people were saying, "I didn't think you could get better from Anchorage. You look better. You look better." And I went backstage and asked people before finals. I was like, somebody said that they thought I was a little flat. What do you think? And a couple people, I won't say who, but people who know, in my opinion, know what they're talking about, said, "Whoever told you that's full of shit. They don't know what they're talking about." But she said, because I was then going to go to Vancouver, BC, and compete again in 2 weeks, she was like, "You should eat more of this, and this." I was like, "All right." I said, "I'm not sure I believe you either, but all right, I'll try that in Vancouver." I won Vancouver, and people again were like, "Holy crap! I didn't think you could get better than Chicago, and you're fuller and tighter." And how did that happen? So credit to her, but she knows my physique. We've been married almost 20 years. She sees me. She's brutally honest, and like if your mental cupcake can go off the rails, I'm not trying to put you down. A coach would be beneficial for you, at least towards the end. I still don't think a coach should take away the fact that you should be responsible and learn something yourself and try and figure out your body yourself. Everybody today seems like, I guess, with Instagram and social media and the internet, everybody's a coach. And, if you're gonna hire somebody, even though I would still say, you know what, go do some contests on your own, make mistakes and learn from them, take notes. I mean, that's what I did. If and when you're ready to hire somebody, like, do your homework on them. Ask for references if you have to. Meet them, talk to them. Like face to face. I mean, I don't know. I can learn something about somebody being face to face. It's hard to via email. Or what they project out on social media.
Well, they're never going to put out their worst client.
Sure.
They're never going to put out their mistakes. They're only going to show their best client. So I agree with the research thing, but I also agree with you on the standpoint that they need to make their own mistakes, because how can you adequately do that research that we're talking about if you don't even know what you're looking for? Because you haven't made your own mistakes to be able to know. And that's not to say that, and this is from a powerlifting perspective as well, I think it should be a matter of working with a coach, not the coach telling you what to do. If you hire a coach, you should be learning the skills of the craft that you're trying to become better in. If you play football and you have a linebacker coach, he's teaching you the skills of the craft of being a linebacker. If you hire a powerlifting coach, he's teaching you really no skills. He's just telling you what to do each week. Or a bodybuilding coach that's just sending you this and sending you that, but not teaching you the craft of how to do the movement.
Right.
You know, they can send you a whole workout. Who's to say that you're doing your extensions? You know, it could say tricep extensions, but you're doing push downs. They're still both tricep extensions.
Yeah.
So who's to say?
Yeah.
You know, unless you know and have, you know, done it yourself. So I guess we're both in agreement that a lot of people might be jumping the gun a little bit too fast on hiring a coach.
Yeah.
And then there may be some other ones that are at that genetic top that we're talking about that might be a little bit too hard-headed to go out and ask somebody else for advice.
Yeah.
Which is good for you if you have to compete against them,
Yeah.
but not so good for them if they're trying to. And even them, I think that, as you said, you got to be able to make those changes to the program, because it may hurt your shoulders, whatever they wrote down for that day.
Right.
And if it's a chest exercise, there's thousands of different variations of chest exercises you
Right.
can do. You don't have to do the one that's specifically there.
Right.
And if a coach says you have to do this specific one,
Yeah.
he's full of shit.
Yeah.
And
You're not hiring an authoritarian boss.
true,
You're hiring a coach
Perfect. Yes.
who should also be more like a teacher in
Yes.
some facets.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to sum that up right there. That's what they should be looking for. If they're getting the authoritarian boss to do this,
Right.
then don't hire him again.
Yeah.
Go another route.